Hey everyone, and welcome. Are you ready to learn what feels like a real-life superpower? Seriously. Today, we're going to dive deep into the amazing skill of speed reading. We're breaking down the core principles from a fantastic book, 10 Days to Faster Reading, by the Princeton Language Institute. Let's jump right in.
So, let me ask you something. Does this picture feel familiar? You know, that giant pile of books on your nightstand, all those articles you save to read later, that never-ending flood of emails? It really can feel like you're just drowning in a sea of information, right? But what if I told you the problem isn't that you don't have enough time? What if the real issue is how you were taught to read? Well, get ready for some seriously good news, because this explainer is going to be your step-by-step guide to becoming an absolute reading machine. We are going to completely shatter those old, slow habits and arm you with some powerful new techniques that will literally change the way you see a page of text. Look, if you're ready to finally conquer that reading list and unlock your brain's true potential, do us a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe right now. Seriously, your support is what fuels our mission to create more of these explainers, and it honestly means the world to us.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to bust some huge myths about reading that are probably holding you back. Then, we'll pinpoint and get rid of the bad habits that are slowing you down. After that, we'll build a super solid 3-step foundation for efficient reading. Dive into the core and then the advanced speed reading techniques, and we'll wrap it all up with a quick summary and a final tip that is, trust me, a total game changer.
Okay, first things first. Before we can build any new skills, we've got to tear down the old walls that are holding us back. So we're going to start with 3 big myths about reading that just need to go. So let's get right to it with myth number 1, the idea that you have to read every single word to understand a text. That is just not true. Think about it like this. A detective at a crime scene doesn't look at every speck of dust, right? No, they look for the important clues. And efficient readers do the exact same thing. They're strategic, they prioritize, they zero in on what actually matters. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
Okay, myth number 2 is a big one, and it's probably a leftover from your school days. It's the belief that you have to remember everything you read. But here's the thing, our short-term memory is, well, pretty limited. The smarter way to do things is to use a retrieval system. Taking notes, highlighting, scribbling in the margins. You're basically creating an external brain, which takes all the pressure off you to memorize every little detail.
And the last myth we're busting today is huge, especially for professionals. It's that fear that reading at your desk makes you look lazy. Let's just crush that idea right now. Reading stuff that's relevant to your work isn't slacking off. It's how you become an absolute rock star at your job. It's how you find that next big idea. It's how you stay way ahead of the competition, and it's how you become the go-to person on your team.
All right, so now that we've busted those myths, let's get into the reconstruction phase. It's time to identify and fix the 3 most common bad habits that are secretly sabotaging your reading speed without you even realizing it. First up, let's talk about daydreaming. We've all been there, right? Your eyes are moving across the page, but your mind is a million miles away. The trick here is to turn that into an active connection. So, if you're reading about Italian art, connect it to that dream trip to Italy you're planning. Then there's regression, that super annoying habit of jumping back to reread sentences. The fix for this is surprisingly simple. Just use a card or even your hand to cover up the text right after you read it. Boom, no going back.
And now, for the biggest speed killer of them all, this is the final boss of bad reading habits: subvocalization. That's the technical term for that little voice inside your head that's saying every word as you read. It's a super sneaky habit most of us have, and it is a major problem. Why? Because it puts a hard limit, a ceiling on your reading speed. It basically chains you to your talking speed, which is only about 150 words per minute. But here is where things get really exciting. Your brain, it's a supercomputer. Its actual processing capacity is a mind-blowing 400 words per minute. So think about that. By learning to silence that little inner voice, you can literally more than double your reading speed. You're basically about to unlock this huge amount of hidden potential your brain has had all along.
So the big question is, how do you actually silence that inner voice? Well, we've got a few kind of sneaky tricks for you. First, you can train your brain to just hunt for the keywords and ignore all the filler stuff. Or you can get physical with it. Seriously, try chewing gum, humming a little tune, or even tapping out a rhythm while you read. It's like you're giving that part of your brain something else to do, a fun little distraction, so the rest of your brain can just zoom ahead at full speed. Okay, so we're breaking those bad habits. Now it's time to build a really solid foundation for reading efficiently.
This is a super simple 3-step process that you do before you even start reading the main text. And trust me, it makes all the difference in the world. Step 1, define your mission. Before you read a single word, you have to ask yourself, why am I reading this? That one simple question is your secret weapon for staying focused. Step 2, do a quick recon mission. Just preview the text, read the introduction, scan the headings, and read the first sentence of each paragraph. This is a total game changer, guys. It can give you up to 40% of the key information before you've even really started. And step 3, well, that's where the real magic happens. That's applying the powerful techniques we're about to get into.
All right, team, it is time to hit the accelerator. Let's dive into the core techniques that will train your eyes to become absolute speed reading ninjas, just flying across the page with incredible speed and precision.
So the very first technique is all about becoming a keyword hunter. Look at how the most important words here, the nouns and verbs, really stand out. That's your target. You want to train your eyes to just leap from one keyword to the next, basically hopping over all the little filler words. It is amazing how you can absorb the entire meaning of a sentence just by grabbing those few key pieces.
Now, building on that, the next technique is to stop reading one word at a time and start reading in what we call thought groups. The idea is to take in whole chunks of words with every single glance. You can see how they're grouped here. This physically forces your eyes to move forward faster. And this is where your peripheral vision becomes so important, because you're using it to scoop up more words with every single stop your eye makes.
Okay, so once you start getting comfortable with hunting for keywords and reading in thought groups, you can start to layer on some even more advanced techniques. We're also going to talk about using some simple physical tools to push your speed and focus to a whole new level.
So here are 2 really powerful advanced techniques. The first one sounds weird, but it's literally reading between the lines. You actually focus your gaze on the white space above the words. Your brain can still pick up the tops of the letters, and it lets you glide across the line without getting stuck on any single word. The second is called the Indentation Method, and this is another great way to use your peripheral vision so you can read the start and end of each line without having to look directly at them.
Let's really break down this indentation method. Just imagine drawing 2 vertical lines inside the margins of the page, just like you see here. Your goal is to start and stop reading inside those lines. I know, it's going to feel a little strange at first, but believe me, it is a game changer. Just by eliminating one single eye stop per line, you can boost your reading speed by over 10%. That's a huge impact for such a small change. And finally, let's not forget about the simplest tool of all, one you probably used when you first learned to read. Your eyes are naturally drawn to motion, so using your finger or a pen as a pacer gives them a moving target to follow. It pulls them smoothly down the page, sets your speed, and as a bonus, it physically stops you from going back and rereading stuff you've already covered. It's so simple, but so effective.
Wow, we have covered a ton of ground, from busting those old myths to learning some really cool advanced techniques. So now, let's bring it all together and talk about the most important part: how to make this new skill actually stick.
So here's the bottom line. Speed reading isn't some kind of magic trick or a mystical power you're born with. It is a skill that anyone can learn. It's all about breaking free from those slow, inefficient habits we all picked up as kids and embracing new, powerful methods for reading way faster and a whole lot smarter. Think of it as the ultimate upgrade for your brain in today's crazy, fast-paced world.
And I've got one final absolutely crucial tip for you, and this comes straight from the research. It turns out your brain can only truly focus effectively for about 20 minutes at a time. Trying to force it past that point just doesn't work. So the pro move is to read in focused 20-minute sprints and then take a 5-minute break. Let your eyes and your brain rest. This is absolutely key if you actually want to understand and remember what you're reading. So there you have it. You are now officially armed with the toolkit to become a faster, more effective reader. The only thing left to do now is practice. And that brings me to my final question for you. With this incredible new skill, what's the very first thing on that to-read pile that you are finally going to conquer?